In 2004, Aaron Ralston was seeking funding to turn his real-life story of being stuck in the Utah desert for over 5 days and ultimately cutting off his own arm into a feature-length documentary, but was being knocked back time and time again. Ralston had already adapted the story into a non-fiction book, Between a Rock and a Hard Place, which recounts his ordeal and the search which took place from his friends' perspectives. But a film version was losing its momentum. However, in 2006, Ralston met with director Danny Boyle, who had a fresh pitch for how to adapt the story, now as an entirely scripted film, which focused solely on Ralston and removed the search efforts to find him. This is how 127 Hours became an Academy Award nominated film by delicately choosing what to cut, what to embellish, and how to manage adapting such a personal and dramatic story. If you want us to do it, you have to lend us your story, was what Boyle told Ralston when Ralston was at first sceptical about giving over free rein of his experience. Boyle was a master of the adaptation, with Trainspotting in 1996 and Slumdog Millionaire in 2008, both being adapted from fictional novels. Producer of the film, Christian Colson, also said, "You have to sacrifice the small truths to honour the larger ones." This is a key sentiment to learn for any aspiring filmmaker, and links to the nature of adaptation and biopic as a way of storytelling. One example of this, in 127 Hours, is the order of some events which change Aaron's motivations to make the events more narratively compelling, such as the scene where Aaron drinks his own urine. In the book, Aaron realises that he will soon run out of water, so decides to store some urine in his water pouch and have a gulp to taste it. This takes place before he runs out of water and, crucially, before Aaron spills some of his clean water. However, in the film, the order of events is more narratively related, as Aaron spills some of his water, leading him to run out of fresh water faster, leading to him drinking his own urine. This small sequential change shows Aaron's worsening scenario and has a better narrative causal link between the events, as things go from bad to worse more smoothly. There are several small changes from book to film, such as this one, that give the events narrative. Writer of the book Film Adaptation and Its Discontent, Thomas Leach, states that adaptation gives value to the adapted stories we see on screen as elevated pieces of entertainment. The stories don't have to be completely factual, as it is licensed to enhance the material for entertainment purposes. Some things, however, are kept entirely the same in order to keep a sincerity about Aaron's plight, one of which is the dialogue during his first vlog, which is transcribed directly from the book. Aaron opens the vlog in both mediums by stating the time, where he is, his name, and he references his parents. This adds to the calibre of the film, showing its respect for Aaron, the way he really spoke and where his mind was after the first day of torment. The vlog goes on for 4 pages in the book, so naturally the rest was condensed, but the true essence of the action was kept intact. Another sincere moment comes towards the end of the film. Long after Aaron's mind has betrayed him with hallucinations, he sees a small blonde boy sitting on a couch and then sees himself in third person, going and playing with the child. The moment is accompanied by ethereal music and rays of golden sunset beaming down into the canyon as Aaron's eyes fill with tears. No dialogue accompanies this scene, but it directly precedes Aaron's successful amputation attempt and serves as motivation for him finally cutting through his arm. This moment plays out exactly the same in the book as it states, "That belief, that boy, changes everything for me." On the DVD commentary, Boyle says of the scene, "Although we experimented with different areas of the film, this is one area where we were not going to experiment at all." Boyle recognised the importance of Aaron's premonition and how it motivated him to find the will needed to cut through his own arm in order to survive, and chose to depict the scene as accurately as possible. In the following scene, Boyle uses the medium of film expertly to enhance moments from the book, particularly through sound. In the book, Aaron described the breaking of his arm as a cap gunshot, to which Boyle matches the moment in the film with a gunshot sound. Even more creatively, when the film Aaron nudges some of the exposed nerves in his now open arm, it is accompanied by an electric guitar sound at extremely high pitch to connect visuals and sound. This is a moment which can only be experienced through the medium of film. This electric guitar sound is inspired by book Aaron describing the feeling of nudging his nerves as "sends a taser shock up to my shoulder," and the visual of actually seeing the exposed nerves as like lifting a guitar string 2 inches off its frets until it snaps, releasing a flood of pain. This is expert adaptation at play. Boyle trusts Aaron's description of an indescribable feeling and uses it to find an outlet that audiences can see and hear for themselves. He translates description in words directly into experience with sight and sound. Throughout the film, the presence and lack thereof of water is crucial. Once Aaron is stuck, water becomes a god, in the words of Boyle, which is one of the reasons why the interaction with the girls was adapted from rock climbing to the swimming scene in the film. Boyle is quoted as saying he wanted to saturate the beginning of the film with water. This shows Boyle's knowledge that as long as interaction and the connection with the girls remained genuine, he had license to change the activity of the scene to suit his own thematic purposes. Later in the film, Boyle has Aaron hallucinate a naked party in a car in the middle of a blizzard, with the first appearance of Raina, Aaron's ex-girlfriend. This is only a short passage in the book that pops into Aaron's head briefly, from which Boyle extracted and developed into a runner which would contribute to the longing, loneliness and regret which makes up Aaron's turmoil. Boyle wanted Raina to become a symbol for the life he had thrown away with his recklessness, despite her only being mentioned once in the book. He turned her into the female lead of the film, showing up in several of Aaron's hallucinations, as he recalls moments he regrets and imagines moments he will lose if he dies. The characterisation of Aaron is another thing that is adapted from book to screen. The format of the book is set up so that every second chapter cuts away from the accent, but it is in these chapters that Aaron's real personality shines through, as he talks about other adventures he has been on and the reckless things he has done, like dive into the Colorado River nearly drowning or do multiple solo winter summits. This leaves the chapters about the accent a bit dry, as it recites exactly what happened as it happened. For example, reciting a list of 20 items he brought with him that day, including specific details of what kind of ropes he had and AA batteries. Boyle realised that if he was going to keep the film with Aaron the whole time, he would need to add certain moments to show Aaron's reckless or funny side. He did this early in the film by adding a scene of Aaron falling off his bike because he was showing off, and also by using quick cut editing and fast-paced music in the introduction to his character. Furthermore, one of Aaron's vlogs in the film is done with a game show style interview where he is doing different voices and playing different roles. This is a departure from the book, where Aaron's vlogs are mostly factual and he keeps a level head throughout, but it shows Boyle had to embellish what Aaron was like when stuck in the canyon to get his personality across and to keep audiences engaged. As a film, 127 Hours is a successful analysis of human psychology and spirit. It was nominated for 6 Oscars and stands among other Danny Boyle films as equally entertaining and engaging, despite focusing on one man and his arm. As an adaptation, I feel it succeeds in translating the ordeal that Aaron went through without trivialising it or glorifying it. The film changes many things in order to keep the spirit of the story alive and connected with who Aaron is as a person.